So what gets in the way, Tom?
Oh, other noise, um, the natural propensity to socialize and not do the every problem is as big as whatever. So now I'm looking for new problems. Actually, I was watching a video this morning. So the new problems, get into massive action and then make your problems. I have too many appointments and I've got some, I hope something cancels instead of, I hope I get an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Changing the way you look at things. Or the way I look
Interesting.
at things. I should be looking like this, I guess, but
That's okay. Stephanie can look off screen, so can you, right?
she's just staring
Let's
at me.
see. Let's see your
Nice.
profile, Tom. Let's see
Nice.
that profile of yours, on the side there. Perfect.
Love
Perfect.
it. Yeah.
So how many, let's just talk about noise for a second. I used to be the king of BSO. Do you guys know what that is?
We're about to find out.
I used to suffer from bright, shiny objects, right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
could get
yeah.
distracted by air. And the hardest thing is that we just discussed it earlier, and I don't know if it was on record or not, but we're talking about the patience of others or the tolerance of others. So we have been cultured to react to everything. Would you guys agree to that or
Absolutely.
disagree?
I've got a great example for that too, but go ahead.
Yeah, so we react. So when you talk about noise, I pull it back to you and go, how do we exercise pig-headed discipline?
Is that a question or you're about to answer?
That was, excuse me, I'll start asking it with that's a question. Yes. How do we exercise pig-headed discipline?
Well, identifying what it is and then telling enough people that matter or enough whatever that's what you're going to do and then being held accountable. One of the things that is just a fact, everybody kind of looks at the word accountable as a negative. Somebody violated the league's drug policies and they're going to be held accountable. Well, no, they're going to be punished. People being held accountable are actually, this is what I want you to ask me if I did, and if I didn't do it, then I, whatever that is. But there's accountability there, which is that's not punishment. That's what grade am I getting? I said I was going to do 20 things today. I did 15, so that's a 75.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Interesting. So let's take this one step back for a second. So we've talked about pig-headed discipline. I'll give you the book where that comes from in a little bit, but let me ask you this. Tom, who is your number one customer?
You are. I have
Let's try that. Go ahead.
I mean, you want me to give a name?
No. I don't want you to out yourself, but no, who is your number one customer?
I guess you're probably wanting me to say me. I don't know what you're wanting me to say.
Well, you're not supposed to know what I want you to say. You're supposed to say what you think.
Yeah, well, whoever's my biggest raving fan is my best customer. Whoever's going to give me referrals is my best customer.
So I'll go back to that. It is you. So in business today, we are all cultured. Think about this. I mean, I'm 52. I remember when we used to get a page and we'd be so excited, like, oh, look how cool am I? got a page. Now I got to go to the pay phone. Tanner, that was on the side of the road on a telephone pole, and I had to call people back from it. And if we look back to the 80s and then the 90s, where we started having more technology, we went from rolled fax machines to plain paper. We went to pagers. We went to the first cell phones that looked something like, this carrying around with you, it was about that big. It was in a bag. And then we just kept moving, and everything is built on speed, right? So today, the tolerance level for speed is gone, right? We all have the Walmart mentality. I want it now. But in business, we're seeing the pendulum swing again. And the reason I bring this up is when I say, who is your number one customer, it's you. So the reason I ask that is what time on your schedule, regardless of the noise that's going on, are you intentional about working on your business and working on the things that you need to work on?
I'm more intentional in the afternoon. So I do
Right.
other things. The easy things I knock off in the morning because I'm less inclined to be disciplined, which is kind of opposite of what I expect people to be.
But is it on your calendar? Like, is there an hour blocked off that says Tom's time, Tom's reading, Tom's making phone calls, Tom's doing emails? Is there anything on your calendar that allows you to know that at this time, hell, I don't even care if it says Tom's taking a nap, but it's time for Tom.
Yes,
Is there
there
any
is.
of that on your calendar?
Yes.
Great. How often do you stick to it?
Great question. Next question.
Tom,
Right,
your
but
answer is
that goes
exactly
back
like
to your
everybody else's.
that goes back to your shiny object syndrome thing. What's the loudest? What, whatever. And so I'm improving every day. I really like this last 6 weeks. I'm way better person than I've ever been. And the more I know, I need to know. So that's still a big challenge for me, is the being true to the calendar.
Okay, so here's my challenge for everybody on this call. How many of you would, if you're sitting in front of a customer in your office, in your car, in their business, how many of you would take a call from another customer in front of them?
No.
Never, right? Not a chance in heck.
Nope.
So why is it when we schedule time for ourselves, that thought pattern goes right out the window and everything else comes in front of it?
I think I'm conditioned to value others more than myself.
Stephanie, any input?
I would agree with that. Hands down.
Great.
Hands down.
And that is a common thing for all of us. That is a common thing. So I would say that you've all just stated you believe in servant leadership, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So servant leadership does not mean subservient. And there's a big difference there. And that's why, write it.
Me too. I'm writing it down.
Right. It doesn't mean that you're any less than, I know we all believe this here. We've all met, we've had great conversations, but we all believe that we're all equal. We all believe that all of our time is valuable. And the reason I went through that exercise is because we believe we're subservient to everybody else's needs. And then when it comes time for our needs, all of these things go out the window. All of these, our time, our scheduling, our, oh my gosh, I was supposed to get this done. Oh, it's not done. Oh, now this customer's mad. This customer's mad. Oh, I was in front of this customer, but I didn't do the work for this customer. It's a vicious cycle. We all get caught up in it. And the ask that I have for you is to treat yourself as well as you treat your customer sitting in front of you. Meaning this, I know that Andy has time in his calendar for Andy. Okay, I have certain times that are just for me. And that may sound super selfish, but even if you could schedule 15 minutes, turn off your phone. I was joking, but take a nap. Take 15 minutes to start with a day where everything's off, where you just become grounded. Or doing whatever, go for a walk, spend time with your kids, do something relaxing. Or then, okay, now it's 2 weeks of 15. Now, I'm going to move it to 25 minutes. No noise, no telephones, no answering machines, no cell phones, beepers, just, and we have to move that. Yeah, beeper. I know. I love that. I had my cell phone, but make time for yourself. And I promise you, this will be the hardest task you do in the next 4 weeks, because every one of you, that 15 minutes will take you to come down to the point where I can breathe. And if you turn off your computer, turn off all the dings, turn off your cell phone, or let's say you turn off your cell phone and you focus on the task in front of you, I promise you, you will start seeing a cycle of more and more things being accomplished.
Yeah.
Listen, I am so on top of that mindset right now that, to TC's point of just kind of feeling goosebump happy about doing that, is exactly where I've been the past, I'd say 3 weeks. I'm in the middle of studying for yet another license. Probably not so much because I'm planning to actually exercise it or optimize it. It's just that I don't like things to be undone. And if you're going to put it in front of me and say, we really would like for you to do, then I'm probably going to do it. So that's just my mindset. Now, this is a biggie. I mean, it's a doozy. However, after I completed this class with our instructor who is teaching, about 40 agents nationwide, it was 5 Saturdays. The fourth Saturday in, he had asked, had anyone opened their window to prepare to take the exam. And out of 40 agents on the call, I think it was only like 12 that had actually opened their window, which means that, you're ready to go and sit for this exam. And he's like, so let me just, and this was the game changer. He says, so either you're interested or you're committed.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It was such an eye opener for me in terms of him sharing that I was like, oh, I better get committed. And so it completely changed, what I needed to do in order to let commitment happen. And so that whole blocking out the time, blocking out my day, for me, I'm more effective in the morning for things that are for me. So, what my routine needs to look like in the morning, and then feeling that sense of production through the rest of the day because I was able to do that is why I'm just, singing these praises right now. I'm just kind of, sitting here vacillating over the whole pig-headed discipline because I'm pretty pig-headed. And I'm like, well, why the heck am I not pig-headed disciplined? Why is it taking, 17 different versions of me trying to reschedule and redo and jump back in again and reschedule and redo?
Here's what I would say to you, Stephanie. I would say you are, but you're just not in that scenario. So just take the true you and apply it in that situation. We have a tendency to, you're not necessarily doing this. I have a tendency to belittle myself, and wouldn't be aware of that except for I read this book called The Alter Ego Effect. And we all have our own enemy within. And so my enemy is I've, bowed out and gotten out of the way of people in deference, but really as a disservice to myself. And so I call that person curtsy because I've just bowed out of the way. Oh no, let me let you do that. And I think when you redefine and apply the true Stephanie and take the enemy within out of that equation, you still haven't done it, but now you're able to say, I didn't do it, but now I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's the true me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great point. But even Stephanie, about being that committed, Pigheaded Discipline is just about choices. It really is. And I love you guys coming clean and talking about these epiphanies and this movement forward in your lives. But I challenge you to resign yourselves as general managers of the universe and allowing yourself to be that person that, hey, this is my time. Hey, the building better be on fire if I'm going to be bothered during my time. And I know that's really far to the right, but it is. It's like your time, you're valuable. How can you recharge? How can you guys be the best you can be for your customers if you're not taking care of you first?
Yes.
That is true. Yeah. And I think for me, just hearing it what resonated in what you shared today, Andy, is similar to what that instructor said about, being interested versus committed. It's kind of like, ding, is the difference between the servant leadership and subservient. I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff because I'd never thought about it from the term of, subservient as opposed to servant, because I do want that to be, my legacy, and that's what I do. And I will put, aside or feel like I'm, I would not sacrifice, but I will do it. Like I will easily do it and put that aside to accommodate something else or someone else when recognizing that that's not really helping the end goal.
Right. And I think you've been cultured that way. I've been cultured that. I was cultured that way for a long time until I realized all my stuff was building up and all my own personal stuff was all getting put on the back burner. And my list, I get I get stressed when my stuff's not complete. Like, if there's a bunch of emails in my email box, if I've got 10 phone calls to return, that's why I had to put them on a schedule. But also I had to block out the noise because as a coach, we always want to help, right? Whether it's 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. But I had to put a blockade in my calendar and be like, look, at 7 p.m. my phone goes off. You want something before 7:30 a.m., the building better be on fire. Or those are my times. But I also had to put blocks in my day where it's just about me. And I know that sounds super selfish, but think about it. When people call you, Stephanie, are they all, hey, let's have a great conversation? Are they, oh, something just went wrong?
Yeah, it's usually something just went wrong.
So think about that when I say general manager of the universe. You and your team are absorbing all of the problems that everybody else is dealing with because of servant leadership, right? We want to take care of people. And that takes a toll. That's the part I'm talking about. That's the toll, is because we don't have a time to disconnect between those two.
That is true. Yeah, my daughter is a soccer player, and they practice at 7:00 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. And she does club, but this is for high school. And I kept sitting here right after that comment about the interest versus committed, and it's dark in the morning, and she's getting up, she's getting there, and they need to be on the field at 7:30. It's not I'm rolling in at 7:30. It's like, cleats on, you've already probably done a couple of laps, let's get this going. And I'm watching her get up, and I'm watching her leave and say goodbye, love you, be careful. And I sit there and I'm like, why am I not up? Why am I not like, okay, let me be in that calisthenic mode and mindset at that same moment, as opposed to still trying to figure it out at that point. Let's just make that the start point for me as well. So that was part of the change. Is like, when her alarm goes off, my alarm is going off. I'm up, I'm now getting my exercise in, because I do enjoy it, but I put it on the back burner because I felt like I never had time to do it. Well, this is a perfect time for me to do it, So, and it has really helped me in getting my arms around. Now I'm in the right headspace to sit down for 2 hours to actually connect with this Series 65 content, and I'm good with it, because I feel like the juices are flowing and the blood is pumping, and there's still no distractions from what I know I'm going to walk into, as you mentioned, when that phone starts ringing with problem 1, problem 2, problem 3, or coaching or leading or redirecting. I'm good with all that because I can still have that time to feel like I'm accomplishing that goal as well. So I've knocked out, 2 very important things in a matter of 2 or 2.5 hours, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet, So
right.
2 biggest excuses there are: time and money. I literally was writing about that a couple of days ago. And so somebody said, one of the biggest excuse, I don't have time. And the question is that you need to ask, and we all have the same, I don't have time. What other lies do you tell yourself? You just don't choose to schedule that time. And again, that goes back to being subservient versus servant.
And it's a great point. We did a leadership conversation on Wednesday, and it was, this is the question I ask everybody when we talk about time. I mean, and I'll ask you guys this: who wants balance, work-life balance?
I don't know how to. I mean, I like the idea, but I don't.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, I like the concept, but I don't really.
Something that I don't want work-life balance, because that's doing this. When I'm at work, I want to be working, and when I'm not at work, I don't want to be working.
Excellent, because my normal response is buy a teeter-totter. That is the only way you're going to find some balance. And you said it right there. It's all about, that's what Pigheaded Discipline is about. It's about difficult choices, making the best choice you can for the things you have now. And I'll leave you for this. So there's been a lot of reading and a lot of information, especially with COVID over the last year. And hustle and grind and busy are the new stupid in business. And that's one of the things that came from it, is because everybody's busy. You find me a business owner, a successful business owner like yourselves that's not busy, that's a lie, right? I mean, there's more things than we'll ever get accomplished in a day. Stephanie, I love that. I'm a morning person. I eat the frog, man. I go there, I get the slimiest, hardest thing to do, and I just get it done.
Yep.
Right. And that's a book. And if you haven't read that book, it's a great
book. Oh, I love
book.
it. Yeah. Yep.
And so we have that. And but again, it's about the transition. And I tell you that, so I'll leave you with this. It's what choices are you going to make for yourself first versus for that subservient. Awesome. Thanks for the thumbs up, Tom. Love it.
All right.
Writing. I'm still writing.
You're really coming along, Stephanie.
What?
We always gave those pens away. I thought you couldn't write.
You know what? You know what, TC? You know what?
I'm about to know.
I do. And good thing we can't see her face.
That's right. This is a good thing that the profile picture is up.
That's right.
It is.
He's familiar with the darts that come out of the eyes.
Oh, exactly.
No, that's a great question. I wanted to make sure, that's my process of study. I've got to write it down in order for it to connect to the brain, so that I'm able to actually internalize it. Otherwise, it just kind of ricochets off.
Yeah, I got to plug one ear so it doesn't go right through. This one over here.
Oh, you guys are awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. Tanner, you want to wrap us up?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today. As this group continues to grow, the conversations will be very similar to this. We'll be pulling, information and participation from the audience, just like we did here today. So it'll be a lot of fun as we get more folks on the call. I know there was a handful that couldn't make it today, but every Friday we're going to continue to do these. If you can make it, great. If you can't, that's fine. We're going to continue to do them every week. So jump on when you can. Bring somebody with you. Send them the invite, or send me their contact information. I'll send out the invite to them. But the more we can get on the call, I think the greater our discussions will continue to be. So that's kind of the point of what these are, and I appreciate you taking the time this morning. That's all I've got for now. Any last remarks, comments, questions before we officially part for the day?
Are we going to see your face next time, Stephanie?
Yes,
nice.
You will. You absolutely will. It's all good.
Fulfilled.
Tom, flattery will get you everywhere.
That's and cookies will get you farther at my house.
You know what? That's true. That's true.
Thanks all right, guys. O'Brien's.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you soon.